Over the last several months, we have been paying close attention to school administrators and to school teachers as we've been keeping up with all of the ways school has been changing over the past year. Today, we are going to speak to a student about those changes and what happened when she had to live through the kind of things that we had to experience last year and still somehow have to go to school. We have third grade student Talyn Westmoreland in the studio. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
And we also have the Winton Woods Superintendent, Mr. Smith, in the studio also with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, Talyn, let's start out with what grade are you in?
I'm in third grade.
Okay, so third grade in the Winton Woods School District. Your school year was different last year. How was it different? What happened?
So when COVID hit, we had to go virtual for a couple of months. So it was hard, actually, to learn a lot of stuff.
And what was virtual school like?
A lot of glitching. Sometimes we couldn't hear our teacher. It was crazy.
So you had to do school at home on your computer and hope that everything worked and hope there were no glitches. And that was very different. Were there things that you missed about not being in the classroom?
I really missed to hang out with my friends and go out to recess and stuff.
So while you were at home, you had, I guess, a little extra time since you weren't getting to hang out with your friends. And so what did you do with that extra time?
Well, I wrote a book. Well, in 2018, my mom wrote a book, and I got inspired to write a book. And I finally found out what to write about because of when COVID hit. I wrote about quarantine, and that's how I came up with the book 8 in Quarantine.
So I'm going to hold up a copy of this book. This is 8 and Quarantined, and this is the book that you wrote, Talyn. And actually, I just now got a chance to see what this looks like. So I'm hoping I have a chance to read this before I have to give this back to Karina. And or I have to go buy my own, don't I?
Yes, on Amazon.com.
Okay, there you go.
Very
That's
good.
what I have to do. But this is what the book looks like. So that's great to hear that you were inspired to write a book. When you watched your mom write a book, as parents, we know that our kids are watching us, and the things that we do could become the things that inspire you. So that's kind of a neat little side note for us to hear as parents.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think what's interesting is the Westmoreland family actually showcases exactly how we see ourselves as the district. We have a new logo, and it's on our mask, and it says, "Love our children, love our schools, love our community." And so the Westmoreland family actually is a very, very good example of how we see it.
And there's a lot of inspiration in this family. We talked about mom writing a book, but mom was inspired by other parts of the family. You've had a chance to talk to them a little bit more.
Yeah, Dad actually inspires the whole family, and he makes everything go. I saw there's a nice picture of you with Dad with the boxing gloves on, just kind of keeping your energy and keeping things in the right direction. So I am really, really happy. I'm proud that you are a student at Winton Woods City Schools. I'm happy that we got a chance to showcase you. Ms. Jackson, our publicity writer, brought us the story and said there's a beautiful little girl who wrote a book, and we'd like to see how it turns out. So that's why you're on the show, but we have some other special surprises for you later on that we'll talk about.
Okay.
So, Talyn, you have been talking about this book with all kinds of people. Now, of course, we at Waycross, we always talk with the really smart students from Winton Woods. So this is something that we get to do all the time, which I love getting to do. But who else have you been talking to about this book?
Well, I've told my teacher and some of my friends.
Have you done any other TV studio getting mic'd up and having lights on you types of things?
I was on Channel 9, Fox 19, and I did an interview with a lady from New York.
Wow, that is a lot. Now, how old are you now?
9.
You are 9 now. The book, don't be confused, the book is 8 and Quarantined, but amazingly,
I wrote it when I was 8.
you are now a 9-year-old, so not to be confused by these things. Do you have plans to write more books, Talyn?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think you'll do next?
I want to write like an adventure book about fantasy worlds and stuff.
Tell me who you think would like to read your book.
Kids, adults, anybody.
Is there anything that you're hearing your readers tell you that you like to hear?
A lot of people have said they loved it, they want more, they want another book, and they love all the information I put in it.
So this is an up-and-coming author. We have more books to expect from Ms. Westmoreland, and we will have to keep an eye out for all of those. And is there anything that you would like Talyn to know from the perspective of the school district?
Yeah, absolutely. Number one, as I mentioned before, we are very excited. And I look at your presence here in the studio. You are very, very poised, very, very together. And how do you like project-based learning? That's what that was one of the questions I wanted to ask earlier.
I have no words.
Okay. Because one of the things that we do in our whole project group, and Dr. Martin helps leads that process, we want young people to be articulate, to be courageous, to get rid of some of the shyness. And so some of those presentations that she has to do as part of her teamwork with her other classmates kind of prepares her for this. That's kind of how we see it and showcase it. We've got some exciting things for you. Number one, we are going to open a brand new school. It's the South Campus, and you're going to be one of our guests for the ribbon cutting ceremony. We wanted you to be there and actually bring your book and wear some of your beautiful paraphernalia. The other thing that we're going to do is we're going to buy books for every one of your classmates in third grade, and we're going to set up a long book signing opportunity. So you have to make sure your hand is rested because you're going to be signing everybody's book. That book that you have, Dana, actually belongs to Mrs. Denny, our community coordinator, but since I'm the superintendent, that's my book. And what I'm going to have Talyn do is to autograph that one for me to my superintendent. I've always wanted to write a book for you, so that's what you're going to kind of put in there. I'll tell you what to write. And this is just a very exciting time. I am so inspired by your message. I'm so inspired by what you had in the book, and for your mom and for your dad. They definitely must be good anchors in your life to give you the perspective to write about this amazing journey that you've been on.
Well, I hope you have time to test out really good pens so that you're ready to sign all of the books for the entire grade. You'll have to use whatever we have handy to sign one for the superintendent today. So as I look at this book, there's a whole lot of students that were quarantined last year. Mm-hmm. Do you think that while they're reading this book, this will kind of help them think about what they had to go through last year?
Mm-hmm.
That's a really powerful thing, to get to use your words and figure out how to put them down in a way that you can share them with all of your friends and all of your peers and other students that you don't even know and you never got to meet. But they will get to have some new words to think about what a strange school year it was by reading your book.
Yeah.
And Dana, I had to send out various letters. We're in blended, we're blue, we're green, we're virtual. Everybody stay home, everybody come to school. And it was hard writing those because you really wanted students to be at school because we know that's where they do their best. Talyn even mentioned that virtual was hard and school should be easy. It should be simple. The face-to-face friends and relationships that you have, you miss those people. So I have to tell you, I actually finished her book the other day. The book inspired me that we made some good decisions for our students by keeping them safe, by keeping them unexposed to COVID as much as we could. And so thank you, because your book inspired me as well. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
So just like you hoped, grown-ups are reading it, kids are reading it. So when you're not writing, what kinds of things do you do?
I try to hang out with my family as much. I talk to my friends, and then I also try to think of ideas for my next book.
Excellent. Do you have any ideas you think the next one will be about?
No, not yet, but I've still been thinking.
I do have we kind of have this vibe, so she's kind of giving me some special information. It's the transformational leadership of the superintendent and how we bond together. So that's going to be her next book.
Does
So
she
thank
know
you.
that's her
Yeah,
next book?
it's an adventure book.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's an adventure.
yeah.
Adventures with the superintendent. And the star happens to look...
We're going to co-star this one. you know,
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Are you taking notes? Do you need my pen? We'll have it recorded. It will be fine. Well, thank you so much for coming in and telling us about your book. Is there anything before we finish up that you want to make sure that we know about writing a book?
You can still have fun and be locked in the house, but be safe at the same time. And put whatever you want to put in that book. It's yours.
Wow.
That is writing advice for every age of writer, from 8 all the way up to infinity. It's yours. Write what you want when you make your own book. So thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Smith, for coming in and for letting us be the place where you got to tell Talyn that she will be a guest of honor at the ribbon cutting for the brand new place that you'll be going to school soon, which is exciting. You will be one of those VIP guests there when they're cutting the ribbon. There'll be all kinds of important people, and you will also be one of those important people there.
And we're going to have you say a few words at the ribbon cutting.
Okay.
We're going to have you speak, because I think it's going to be very important for people to hear your words, because the quarantine kind of affected a lot of people. And we want to see how a 9-year-old, because you were a little kid at the time, now you're 9, but how a 9-year-old overcame some of the obstacles to write that book. Okay? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for watching and getting a chance to meet one of the many superstars of the Winton Woods School District. You know you can always keep up to date with what's going on in Winton Woods at wintonwoods.org. So keep an eye on that website and their Facebook page so that you can be up to date.
For the new